looking for someone to play hide and seek with. You go hide and I'll subsidize you. Not running!
Hello everyone and welcome to yet another animatronic review. This is like the fourth or fifth one I've recorded today. Hopefully I'm cranking them out as fast as I'm making them. As you can see here, this is the creepy towering clown from 2017. Mine's a 2018 model, but we don't need to talk about that. Which is the better one, by the way. Shh. As you can see, very cool looking. Let's just get into the review, starting with motions, and it's fresh on your mind. Okay, now with motion, I'll put the video back up on screen, but you already saw just a few seconds ago. So his motion is very good. Literally no complaints at all. Not much I really need to say about it. It's essentially perfect. I mean, it's just exactly what he needs to do. The way he looms over you and just kind of goes side to side. It works really well. They don't even need to have his head turn or anything, just because he's just because he works so well. Just going back and forth. So for motion, he gets a 10. There's no problems at all. We'll get into his design. So his design is very good, and I have a few things to say that are good about his design, and a few things that are bad. Not many that are bad, actually. We'll start off with the good, and his outfit is really good. He's got a nice, coherent, cohesive color scheme of white and dark red. Even his skin sort of matches his color scheme. The shoes are very nice, that they're not just the bright red ones that so many clowns have. One thing I will say about him that isn't very good is his body is kind of stupid looking. And his clothes kind of get hung up a lot, but it's not that big of a deal. Where I have him though, his body shape isn't really a problem. One other thing about the design is if you look closer, you can see the top of the frame at the top of the animatronic, which is a little annoying. Not the best looking thing in the world, but it's not that bad. His hands though, his gigantic hands are very nice, very pale and scrawny, which is good. His positioning, even his positioning is just great. So for his design, I'll have to give him a 9 out of 10. To his detail, and this guy certainly holds up, even 5 years later. So his hair, I like his hair a lot. So the thing about his hair is, with a lot of clowns, you can't really do much with his hair, but this guy's hair you can actually style, which is kind of fun. It's not super long, and it's kind of messed up in the back, and he's got a super receding hairline, but you can still mess with it, which is quite fun. Now, his face looks very good as well. It definitely it holds up to the standards of today. Mine, the one thing that's fun about the face is almost all of them are like completely unique. So mine is, if you could just see his side profile there, really goofy, but in a good way. Mine has an enormous underbite and a very narrow face. I've seen some with super flat faces and crooked faces, and it's kind of crazy, which is just kind of fun. Maybe not the best thing, but it's kind of fun. His makeup, while very simple, it works well. His eyes look really cool. His clothes are just perfect. Like, if I just zoom in on any spot here, there's all blood stains everywhere. I mean, it's very faint, but it doesn't need to be very, apparent. And then almost everywhere you go on him, there's yellow stains and there's blood, and it just looks really good. His hands are another thing. His hands look very good, very veiny and scrawny with blood on his fingers, probably from like juggling body parts, like he says in his most iconic voice line. And then also this frilly part, I don't know what it's called. I'll put a picture of it with the name on screen because I'm an idiot. It's just kind of a fun detail also. So for detail, he gets a 10 out of 10. No complaints. They did a wonderful job. Talk about the price. So he originally retailed for $200. Which is absolutely fantastic. This guy, he has 2 motions, which sounds quite simple, but they're very big motions. Okay, obviously the mouth movement is a must for everything now. and then the rotation just looks fantastic. So he's not super complicated, but like $200 is really good. Now, of course, since he is sort of old, hasn't been sold in like 3 years now, you're not going to be able to find him for $200. Let me go check eBay and get some accurate prices right now. Checking eBay, not very many listings, which gives kind of a difficult margin, but I would say he ranges anywhere from around 300 to 325 to 450, which kind of expensive, even 300, but I think if he came out now, he'd be sold for 300, so it's not that bad. But I think 10 out of 10 for $200. Just keep in mind you won't be able to find him for that now, unless they don't know what they're selling or he's broken. For the final category, setup, I will have a picture of him just stripped of all the clothes so you can see all the inner workings and stuff. There you go. That's all his parts. Now, the thing about him, so he's kind of the gold standard for SVI. He is, when you think of SVI setups, this is the guy, okay? But I will say, it's not fun. His setup is kind of annoying. Now, it's not horrible, it's not tedious, it doesn't take half an hour, it's just kind of like, I don't know, the pieces don't click together well, it takes, but I will give him a 7 out of 10 for setup. And now to tally up his score. So, for design, he gets a 9 out of 10. For motion, he gets a 10 out of 10. For price, he gets a 10 out of 10. For detail, he gets a 10 out of 10. And for setup, he gets a 7 out of 10. Putting this together, you get a total score of 46 out of 50, which if you double that and put as a percentage, you gets a 92%. Now, I will say, him being so iconic, and well, he's also constant motion, which I love, with literally no delay. Like Uncle Charlie has a constant motion, but there's a delay in between the cycle. He has no delay at all. He just goes immediately. His lights don't turn off or anything. He's just so iconic. He is the gold standard when it comes to seasonal visions, and it's like he is probably the king of clown animatronics. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's the king. Whether you like it or not, he's the king. So I'm giving him a few bonus points just for being so good, because I feel like he got kind of lowballed on the setup. I'm like, not like he got too low of a score. I just feel like he got scammed out of higher. Whatever, you get the idea. He's really good, yeah. For the final segment, should you buy him? Of course, if you find him for $200, definitely buy him. If you find him for under $300, I'd keep my eye out. And if you have the money, probably buy him if you want. This is, in my opinion, my favorite clown animatronic, that at least that I own. I would rather have like Chester the Jester, but that thing is super rare. This guy has, he usually has more than one listing on eBay at a time, which is helpful if you want to buy him. But like, he doesn't have as many as like anything more iconic like Death Row or Rosemary, who have like at least 5 at a time, from what I've seen. But he is increasingly rare every year, like drastically. Okay, like after he stopped being sold, he just like got exponentially rarer. And I'm not sure why, because he's lasted me 4 years now. So I don't know why that is, because it's not like he's breaking down or anything, especially since he's such a big seller. But he's just kind of becoming rare now. But a lot of people have him still, but there's just not many for sale. So if you see him for under $300, I would definitely buy him if you have the money. And if you want him, I would not spend more than $400, even if you have the money, unless that's the only option. And maybe you're watching this a year from now, or 2 years from now, where he's even more expensive. And under $400 is a good price. I don't know, but yeah, there you go. In my opinion, he's the king. He's king. He's really good. But buy him if you want. Anyways, thanks for watching. Goodbye.